When was the last time you felt genuinely excited about something? Not distracted, not entertained for a few seconds. Actually excited, actually looking forward to something. If you're struggling to answer that, you're not alone. Millions of people are living with a quiet, invisible emptiness. Everything feels flat. Food doesn't taste as good. Music doesn't hit the same. Even good news barely registers. You're not depressed. You're not ungrateful. You're not broken. You're experiencing what neuroscientists are now calling the dopamine crisis. And it's happening to an entire generation, right now, and almost no one is talking about it. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, the happiness molecule. That's not quite right. Dopamine is not about pleasure, it's about anticipation. It's the feeling of wanting, not having. When you're about to eat something delicious, that excitement you feel, that's dopamine. When you're about to open a gift, that's dopamine. The motivation to get up in the morning, pursue a goal, fall in love, all dopamine. It's the chemical that makes life feel worth living. Now here's the crisis. In the modern world, we have engineered an environment of infinite dopamine triggers. Social media, streaming, online shopping, fast food, gambling, pornography, video games designed to be endlessly stimulating. Every one of these delivers a dopamine hit, faster, bigger, and more intense than anything our ancestors ever experienced. And when you flood a system with too much of any chemical, it adapts. It downregulates. It becomes less sensitive. Your brain, trying to protect itself, starts producing less dopamine and reducing the number of dopamine receptors. The result? The same activities that used to bring you joy now feel like nothing. You need more stimulation just to feel normal. And even then, normal doesn't feel good enough. Let's go deeper into the biology. Your brain has a reward circuit, a network of regions including the nucleus accumbens, the ventral tegmental area, and the prefrontal cortex. This system evolved over millions of years to reward survival behaviors, finding food, forming social bonds, achieving goals. When you do something beneficial, dopamine is released into this circuit. You feel motivated, energized, alive. But this system was never designed for the speed and intensity of modern stimulation. The tolerance problem. Think about coffee. The first time you ever drank it, 1 cup made you feel wired. Now, maybe you need 2 or 3 just to feel normal. Your body adapted. Dopamine works the same way. The more you stimulate the system artificially, through screens, processed food, gambling, or any high-stimulation activity, the more your brain compensates by reducing its sensitivity. Scientists call this dopamine receptor downregulation. Your brain literally removes dopamine receptors to balance the overload. The end result? You need more stimulation to feel the same effect. And when you're not being stimulated, you feel worse than before. This is the trap. The more you chase the hits, the more you need. And the baseline, the ordinary feeling of being alive, becomes something you can no longer tolerate. The anhedonia effect. There's a clinical term for this feeling, anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from activities that used to be enjoyable. Anhedonia was once considered a symptom of severe depression, but researchers are now seeing it in people with no clinical diagnosis whatsoever, people who are otherwise healthy, employed, socially connected. The only thing they have in common? High levels of digital consumption and low-effort dopamine seeking. A 2023 study published in the journal Nature Neuroscience found that chronic overstimulation of the dopamine system leads to measurable reductions in baseline mood, motivation, and capacity for enjoyment, even in the absence of any other mental health condition. In other words, you don't need to be clinically depressed to have a broken reward system. You just need to live a modern life. The boredom intolerance signal. Here's a sign you may have dopamine dysregulation. You cannot be bored. Not won't be, can't be. The moment there's a gap, waiting in line, sitting in silence, riding an elevator, your hand goes to your phone, automatically, without thinking. That compulsion is your brain screaming for dopamine. It has become so dependent on constant stimulation that silence feels physically uncomfortable. And that discomfort? It's telling you something important. Let me describe a feeling you might recognize. You have a free afternoon, nothing to do, no obligations. You should feel relaxed, maybe even happy. Instead, you feel restless, vaguely anxious. You pick up your phone, scroll for 20 minutes, put it down, and feel worse than before. You try to watch a movie, but you can't focus. You try to read. Your mind wanders after 2 pages. You try to just sit quietly, and it feels almost unbearable. So you go back to your phone. Or you eat something you don't really want. Or you turn on something loud in the background just to fill the silence. This is not laziness. This is not weakness of character. This is a brain that has been so overstimulated that it no longer knows how to be at rest. A reward system so dysregulated that ordinary life, the kind of life that was enough for every human being who ever lived before us, feels insufficient. And the terrifying part is that most people don't even realize it's happening. They just feel vaguely empty, vaguely dissatisfied, vaguely like something is missing, and they can't quite name what it is. Now you can name it. The good news, and there is real, genuine good news here, is that your brain is not permanently damaged. Neuroplasticity means your dopamine system can recover. Your receptors can upregulate. Your baseline can return. But it requires one thing: a deliberate dopamine reset. Here's what that looks like. Reset 1. The 72-hour detox. For 72 hours, eliminate your highest dopamine activities. No social media, no streaming binge watching, no video games, no processed sugar, no alcohol. The first 24 hours will feel uncomfortable. You'll be restless, irritable, maybe anxious. That discomfort is real. It's withdrawal. Your brain is recalibrating. By hour 48, something shifts. Colors start to look brighter. Food tastes better. Conversations feel more interesting. A simple walk outside feels genuinely good. That feeling? That's your baseline dopamine returning. That's what life is supposed to feel like. Reset 2. Earn your dopamine. The healthiest dopamine hits are the ones you work for. Exercise, cold exposure, completing a difficult task, learning something new, creating something with your hands. These activities release dopamine slowly and sustainably, the way your brain was designed to use it. They build receptor sensitivity rather than destroying it. The rule is simple. If it takes effort, it's probably good for your dopamine. If it requires no effort and feels instantly gratifying, it's probably depleting it. Reset 3. Protect your mornings. Your dopamine system is most vulnerable in the morning. If the first thing you do is scroll social media, check news, or watch stimulating content, you've already set your dopamine ceiling for the day too high. Everything that follows will feel less satisfying by comparison. Protect the first hour. Move your body. Eat real food. Sit in silence or sunlight. Let your dopamine system wake up gently, and it will reward you with focus, motivation, and genuine enjoyment for the rest of the day. The dopamine crisis is real. It is not a character flaw. It is not a generation being weak or ungrateful. It is a predictable biological response to an environment we were never designed for. But here's what I want you to take away from this. The fact that nothing feels good right now doesn't mean nothing will ever feel good again. Your brain built this pattern, and your brain can dismantle it. Start small. Pick one high dopamine habit. Remove it for 72 hours. See what happens. If this video made something click for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Vital Drift. Because every week, we decode exactly what modern life is doing to your brain and body, and give you the tools to fight back. See you in the next one.